Pretty much when you put equations in slope-intercept form, you're basically solving for what? What's by itself in slope-intercept form? Y. You're just solving for y. That's what it means to put it in slope-intercept form. Solve for y. I'm going to put that up here. Oh, can't spell. Solve for y. So in number 1, in 1 through 4, we're going to talk about which ones are in slope-intercept form. And then once it is, it's easy to tell the slope and y-intercept. So number 1, is it in slope-intercept form? Yes. So what is the slope, Rihanna?
1/4.
Good. Negative 1/4. Slope is always beside the x. And Darius, what's our y-intercept? How do I want you to write it? There we go. Always write it as a coordinate point. Questions about that? Is number 2 in slope-intercept form? No. We need to get what by itself? Alright, what do we need to move first then? The 2y? Okay, we can do that. So how would we move it? So we would get what? And now how would we get y by itself? Divide what by negative 2? Just the 10 or everything? So I can divide 3x by negative 2? Alright, off topic. Don't write this down. Can I do 6 times 2x? What's 6 times 2x? 12x, right? Can I do 6 plus 2x? No. Can I do 6 minus 2x? No. Can I do 6x divided by 2? That'd be what? So when it's not like terms, I can't add or subtract them, but I can do what? So can I divide this by negative 2? Yes. Divide everything by negative 2. Now tell me what I would get. Negative 3 over 2 what? X. Good. And what else? Good. Any questions about that part? Could I have changed this to a decimal? No. Anytime we have slope, you want to leave it as a fraction, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay? Is this in slope-intercept form? Yes. So, Caleb, what's my slope? And what's my y-intercept?
0.5.
Good. That was a lot of work just to find out what the slope and y-intercept was, right? Because our directions, it technically doesn't say we have to put it in slope-intercept form. It just says find the slope and y-intercept of the graph. We could do this a shorter way instead of putting it in slope-intercept form. And I'm going to show you because I like shortcuts. Let me write this over here, this original equation. What does this look like? What kind of form it's in, or close to it? It looks close to standard form, right? We would just need to do what here? Put it in standard form. Yeah, move the 10 over. You can find the slope and y-intercept from standard form also, not just slope-intercept form. Does anybody know how? No? Okay, that's fine. Anytime it's in standard form, this is the equation you're going to use for slope. Make sure you copy this down. M equals negative A over B. That's only in standard form. Can you use this? Negative A over B would be your slope. So for example, what is our A in this one? 3. So you would write negative 3, because it has to be negative A. And then B is what? 2. Isn't that what we got right here? Just a lot shorter. Right. And then for your y-intercept, we talked about this yesterday, you set what to 0? X. So if I cover it up, I'll have 2y equals 10. So to solve for y, I just need to divide this by what? And so y would be, or b would be 0.5. Isn't that a lot easier? So if it's in standard form, use this. For this, just use this formula, then set x to 0 to find your y-intercept. If it's already in slope-intercept form, like number 1, then you can easily identify it that way. Okay, let's try it some more. So for number 3, is this in standard form? Is it? What do we need to do to make it in standard form? Good, divide by 2. That would give us what? X. Because all of these have something in common. Remember when we did standard form yesterday, like if they had something in common, we had to simplify it first? So tell me what that would be. 2y equals 5. Good. Now it's in standard form, so I can use my formula for slope, which is negative a over b, correct? And what is my a in this one? So it would be negative 1 over negative 2. Good, because b's negative 2, and these two negatives will make a what? Positive 1/2 for my slope. And b, I just set what to 0? X. So I would have negative 4y equals 10, so I'd have to divide this by what? Negative 4. Do I need to write that to the side? Nope, everybody can see that. So you set x to 0, negative 4y equals 10, divide 10 by negative 4. That's going to give us what? Good. You can change your y-intercept to a decimal, that's fine, as long as you don't do your slope. Do y'all like that way better than putting it in slope-intercept form? Any questions about that? Alright, number 4. This is in standard form and slope-intercept form. Can anybody tell me what this slope's going to be? Good, there's no x term, right? So m is going to be 0. What about our y-intercept? 0, 7. Good. Good job. What kind of line is this? Good. Horizontal. What type of slopes do vertical lines have? Good. Undefined. Bless you. Alright, so for 1 through 6, I know it says graph using slope-intercept form, but if y'all want to leave it in standard form and find the slope and y-intercept, that way you can. Let's do 1 and 2 together, then you're going to do some on your own. What type of form is number 1 in? So tell me the slope. Let's write it as 2 over 1. And what's my y-intercept? What do you have to graph first? Your slope or your y-intercept? Good. Always graph B first. If you didn't know that, just write graph B first. And that's going to be on my graph where? Where's 0, 1 at? Good. On my y-axis at 1. And then from here, I have to go what? Up 2 over 1. Or I could go what? Down 2, left 1. Good. And you should have a ruler on your desk. Anytime you graph lines, I want you to have at least 3 dots before you graph your line. You can go ahead and graph that one. Just looking at this graph, I can tell it has what kind of slope? Positive, because it's going uphill. So make sure you check that. If you have a negative slope and your line's going like this, you know you've done something wrong. Okay? The next one, is it in standard form? Yes? No? Yes? So for m, we use negative a over b. So that would be negative 1 over 1. What's my y-intercept? Very good. Question. Does this negative, does it go with both of these ones? If it was both of them, this would make a positive slope, right? 2 negatives make a positive. So which one does the negative go with? The top? Could it go with the bottom? Yes, let's try it. Oops. So I'm going to graph my y-intercept first at negative 3. Now tell me what to do. I could go down 1 this way, right? Or I could go up 1 and back. Either one. It's going to give you the same line. Go ahead and draw that. Make sure you draw your lines all the way through, because we're going to have to do that when we do inequalities, which is coming up next. Alright, try the other 4 on your own. Make sure that you identify, put m equals whatever, b equals whatever. Make sure you identify your slope and y-intercept. Oh, thank you.
Let me know if y'all have questions.
Who's still working? This one. He's working. So that means it's side to side. And that's when y equals the number. When x equals the number, it's going to be compare your graphs, but also compare your slopes and y-intercepts. If you're not done, just keep working. But everybody who's done, go ahead and compare it with the people around Alright, I need 4 volunteers. 1, I need 3 more. 2, I need 2 more. I need 1 more volunteer. Alright, Caleb, I pick you. Alright, Caleb and the rest of y'all, come on up. Come on up, Sid. Alright, y'all decide who's doing what. So, one of y'all do 3, one of y'all do 4, one of y'all do 5, one of y'all do 6. Alright, whoever's first, go ahead and put it under there. And the rest of y'all kind of scoot over so they can see that screen. Alright, let's look at number 3. Kind of explain how you got this, Madison.
Okay. Since it's in standard form, it's negative a over b. So it'll be negative 4x over negative 3.
Alright, stop there. Notice she said negative a over b, right? And your a is already negative, so that makes this a what? Positive. That's correct. Keep going.
And then I did x equals 0, so you'd have 3y equals 12. You divide that by 3 and you get 0, 4 for b. And then I graphed my 0, 4 point right here. And then I went up 4 and over 3.
What do y'all think? Looks good? Mm-hmm. How could we know that this was the correct slope?
It's positive.
It's going uphill, so we know it's positive, right? Any questions on this one? Alright, so show us the next one. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Madison. Alright, kind of explain how you got your slope and y-intercept.
Okay, so I did negative a over b, which was negative 1 over negative 1 over negative 5. And then I set y equal to 5, and I got negative 1. Mm-hmm. So 0, negative 1, and I plotted that first because it's the y-intercept. And then I went up 1 and over 5 because 2 negatives make a positive.
Yes. Is it okay that she left it like this? Like if she were to graph her dot, could she go down 1, back 5? Yeah, it's the same line. Any questions about this one? Thank you. Alright, next one.
So
Alright, go ahead.
it's asking it says x equals 7, and so it's asking for 7 on the x-axis. Therefore, it's just, and it doesn't give you a y-intercept, so there's not one. So it's just a vertical line.
Good. How'd you know the slope was undefined?
Because it's a vertical line.
Very good. And with the vertical line, how much is this rising?
Infinity.
And running?
0.
So if you divide by 0, that's when your slope gets what? Undefined. Good. And for B, you could just put does not exist. Okay? Or there is none. Because is this crossing the X or the Y axis at all? No. Any questions on this one? So the slope of every vertical line, the slope of every vertical line will be what? Undefined. The slope of every horizontal line will be
0.
0. Everybody got that? All right, thank you. All right, go ahead and explain.
Okay, so to get the slope, it's already in standard form, so you just want to do -3 over -2, which will, 2 negatives will cancel out, so you'll get 3 over 2 for the slope. And the y-intercept, you set x to 0, so -2, y equals -6, and you just want to divide -6 by -2, which will give you 3.
Is this graph correct? Very good. Any questions about this? Very good, thank you. Alright, so y'all feel good about graphing lines? Did I show y'all how to check it in your TI 83, 84? Like how to graph lines in that? Nope. Alright, so if you have, can I borrow this? A TI 83 or 84, get it out so I can show you how to graph. Okay? And you already know how, that's why I'm using yours, but that's okay. And I'll put it underneath here. Now, the trick to graphing these on your calculator is that you can't put it in standard form. It has to be in slope-intercept form. So let me show you this first one we did together, okay? You go to y equals up here on your calculator, and it should be a bunch of different y's. Actually, let me start over. Hit clear. Go to window first. Let's make sure everybody's window is good. Hit second mode to quit out of that. Second mode. Go to window. Everybody's x min should be -10. If it's not, type in -10, then hit enter. This is in window. And then your x max should be 10. All of these should be 1, -10, 10, 1, 1. Change them if they're not. Everybody's good with that? Hit y equals. Again, these have to be in standard form because this has y by itself, right? So let's type in 2x. So you just hit the number 2. The x button is this one right here. So hit x, and this is what it should look like in your calculator. Then +1 for this problem. Then hit graph. See how these look exactly the same? So that's how you see if you graphed it correctly, okay? You have a problem? Okay, let me see. If you have trouble with yours, let me know. I can fix it. Anybody else have trouble? Alright. I'm going to pass out your homework. I don't want you to get started on it yet. Your homework is this worksheet. You can write on it, and it is 12 questions. It's just on stuff we did today, okay? So when I pass this out to you, what I want you to do, put everything away besides a blank sheet of paper, a pencil, and a calculator after I pass this out, okay? Blank sheet of paper, pencil, and a calculator. This will be due on Friday. Thank you. Alright, we do have a quiz tomorrow, and it's on stuff we've been covering, like graphs, slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b, finding the slope between 2 points. So we're going to play a Kahoot game to review. Now the Kahoot game is 10 questions. It's fast paced, so make sure you pay attention to the time. First and second place will get a prize, and I'll tell you what it is after we finish playing. If you do not have a phone or you can't get on Kahoot for some reason, go ahead and work on your homework I just passed out, okay? But if you can, go ahead and play. You can put, yes, you need a sheet of paper like to work stuff out on.